army general who led the coup in Gabon last week, has been sworn in as a declared transitional president. General Brice Ngema deposed the elected president Ali Bongo to end his family's 55 years of power. In his speech, the general vowed to return power to civilians after free, transparent elections. But he did not give a date for military rule to end. Ali Bongo's father, Umar, was in power for 41 years before he died in 2009 and was succeeded by his son. The general spent most of his career in the Bongo's inner circle and is even thought to be Ali Bongo's cousin.
At the end of this transition, with the support of all Gabonese development partners, we intend to hand over power to civilians by organizing new, free, transparent and credible elections in a climate of social peace.
Et crédible dans la paix sociale.
Well, we're joined now by African Affairs analyst and publisher of Africa Briefing magazine, Jon Offei-Ansah. Thank you for joining us on Newsnight. Now, the development in Gabon is beginning to take different turns and twists. Speak to us about this suspicion that the newly sworn-in military president is a cousin to Ali Bongo.
Yes, we've heard those rumors, but what I know is that they come from the same area in Gabon, the same region, and the fact that he's merely operated, within the inner circle of the Bongo family gives credence to the fact that maybe they might be related. He might be Ali Bongo's cousin, but nothing is proven yet. But for all we know, they are from the same area and were quite close.
And can one really say then, based on this fact, that Gabon has really moved on under this General Ngema? I mean, with this relationship and having been part of the inner caucus of the Bongo administration over the years, can you really say that Gabon has moved forward or moved on?
Yes, I mean, look, the writing, had been on the wall for a long time. Don't forget that when Ali Bongo fell ill with a stroke some few years ago, and he recovered slightly. He was in Morocco for about 12 months recovering. And when he came back, there was time for elections. He wanted to run, and there was a massive resistance, for him, against him running. But and in the course of that, there was an attempted coup, which was quelled. Okay, so now this coup, having occurred immediately after the results of last month's elections were announced, meant that the whole thing was planned, and the Gabonese, as we all know, are tired, of that Bongo dynasty, a total of about 55 years. So it appears they've opened a new page. They are opening a new chapter, in their can I say national life? Yeah.
And the newly sworn-in military leader has promised a return to democracy without any timeline. Can they even be trusted?
Well, it's not new. I mean, we have so many coupists who take power and promise a swift, return to civilian rule, and more often than not, that never happens. And you find them metamorphosing into civilian leaders themselves. Right, but let's see. Let's take them for their word and see, if they will live up, to their promise. Look, we have Guinea, we have Mali, who stayed course in about 3 years ago. They promised, a timeline. They set up a roadmap on the insistence of the ECOWAS, to return, to civilian rule. And it is yet, those promises are yet to be fulfilled. Though I must say that Mali has set up, is meeting the roadmap to return to civilian rule in 2024. So let's hope that Gabon's leaders, the coup leaders, will live up to their promise and prepare the ground. Because he said that he they would draw up a new constitution to be approved by a referendum. And don't forget that constitution cannot be drawn overnight. It takes time. So from where I'm sitting, I'm not looking at a period of less than 3 years. I mean, a transition of less than 3 years before the country moves back to civilian rule.
Come back to that promise from the military to soon return the country to a civilian rule. But speak to us about your assessment of France's involvement in all of this.
So far, France has troops, in Gabon, in Libreville, troop number about 400. But so far, France has not made any move whatsoever. France has been relatively quiet compared to what we saw in Burkina Faso, or even most recently in Niger. France has been very quiet, and I think President Macron, he saw the writing on the wall ages ago. Macron is the first leader, a French leader born after, all these Francophone countries gained independence from France. He is a new generation of French leader. And since he came to power, he's been trying to reset, France's relations with these former African colonies. He's been trying to move away from that dreaded, hated France-Afrique. Okay, so with this coup, and Gabon actually was, let's say, the jewel in the crown of the French colonies in Africa. I mean, they had very, very strong links. The French government had very strong links with Bongo, Omar Bongo, the late Omar Bongo, and then it continued with the current Ali Bongo. Okay, but it is surprising how quiet, France, relatively quiet France has been. And I put it that I do that maybe Macron is seeing the writing on the wall and he just let it go. He just let things develop, as they will in Gabon.
Let's talk about the possibility of the Bongo family answering questions of corruption. I'm sure you saw that viral video where cartons, bags upon bags of CFAs, somewhere between 4 to 5 billion CFAs were said to have been found, belonging to the Bongos. Will Ali Bongo answer to questions of corruption? Do you think this military government will be willing to do that, to investigate and prosecute?
Well, first, let me tackle the question of that viral video. We are journalists, and I haven't been able to verify the authenticity of that video showing the stacks of banknotes. So I cannot say, that that money actually belonged to any member of the Bongo family. But having said that, yes, they have to answer. Because there are rumors that Pascaline, Ali Bongo's sister, was even behind that coup. Okay, so if it is true that no Bongo family was behind that coup, yes, then the Bongo dynasty, the Bongo family, have to have questions to answer, right, for amassing so much wealth. But look, last year, Gabon's oil revenue came to about $6 billion. Okay, and the population of Gabon is just at 3 million, so about 2.3 million. Okay, and 40% of the youth aged between 15 and 25 are unemployed. Okay, so it beggars believe how one family can milk the state resources, the state wealth, for themselves, to the detriment of the population at large, to the detriment of its citizens. So, in my opinion, yes, they have questions to answer.
Right. Then that's where we have to leave it. Jon Offei-Ansah is an African Affairs analyst. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight.